Hey y'all, hey y'all. Hey y'all. It's your girl Big Lex. Welcome back to the Life of Lex. No, but for real though, welcome back. How you doing? You good? You high right now? You ever get nervous? Are you single? You know, basics. How you doing? I'm good. I have tried to record this episode a couple times and just kept getting interrupted. But I said we got a couple minutes. Let's just talk. So, life is crazy. Let's start there. Life is crazy. And I've been feeling kind of tired, right? Tired of, like, not tired like I need to go to sleep tired. More like a fed up tired. And that's due to a couple of things. But I also don't know how to change them, if that makes sense. Like, I do, but I don't. It's more of a take one step at a time thing. In my brain, it wants a solution to be able to act most of the time. Like, I need to know that X, Y, and Z are going to happen when I make this decision. No matter how X, Y, and Z falls. Like, my mind just likes to plan. I don't like to be unprepared for anything. But God doesn't work that way. God wants me to just act and trust. Act and trust. Trust and act. Right? Make a decision. Hope for the best. Because if you're hoping for the best, then that's most likely what you're going to get, right? Like, if you're playing a game, right? Computer game, video game, whatever. You're not playing it to just play. You're playing to win, right? So every time you start a round, you have hopes that you're going to win. That's the goal. But, one game that doesn't work like that is Sims. Like, you can't win Sims. Everybody who plays Sims, like, they have these, well, for me, okay, I have these scenarios that I want to have play out in a Sims life, but I'm not just here playing for this one Sim. This one Sim gets married, then now I have to now I have to, you know, decide for the first Sim and now their partner, and then they're gonna have kids, and it's not just a one-track mindset type of game. You have to be able to develop and nurture all of the Sims that you're in control of. You might want a small family, you might want a big family, you might want a medium-sized family. You might want a Sim that's just having babies with everybody. I've done that. Anyways, I just have to learn to trust that God's going to take care of me and everything else once I act. But if I'm too scared to act, I'm not going to get anywhere. Just going to keep being on the hamster wheel. Okay. Anyways, I don't want to be on the hamster wheel anymore. I want to get off the hamster wheel, so I gotta act. I have to make a decision to say, you know what? This ain't for me. I am in control of me. I'm in control of my life. What I say goes. Who doesn't like it? That's on them. Me, I like knowing that God's gonna take care of me. Because a lot of people can say, oh, I'll take care of you, or oh, I'll do this, or I'll do that, or, you know, people can say a lot of things. But it's when you act, that's when your character speaks for you. It's when, you know, things happen, things change. So, y'all, about this book. I went to the bookstore the other day because I wanted to go to the movies. I was going to go with somebody, and then they canceled, and I was like, well, now I have to figure out what movie I want to see because I'm still going to go to the movies. It's still what I do on Sundays. So I was like, boom, I'm stopping Barnes & Noble real quick. It'll buy me some time. So while I'm in there, I'm like, ooh, books. Okay. Like, ooh, let me see if I can actually find a book. So I'm looking around. I'm like, where the black people books at? Where they at? And so I'm walking around this Barnes & Noble. And then I run across this section called Libros en Español. And right before I get to this section, right? So I'm still walking around. In my mind pops up this interview that I watched on YouTube the other day of Cheekies and this lady. And Cheekies just kept talking about, like, oh, I discussed this and that in more detail in my book, Invencible, in my book, da da da. So I'm like, well, let me Google the book, see what it looked like for one, and see what, if it's like, if they even sell the book, because I might have to just order, right? Because everything, you go to the store nowadays, you can't find what you're looking for most of the time. So I'm like, let me just look it up the book. So, looking up the book, I'm like, okay, they might have it. It says in stock. And I just happened to walk up to Libros en Español, books in Spanish. I'm like, okay, I see where this is going, right? And then I'm looking at the book on my phone, and I see the same color on the bottom row, and it says Cheekies Rivera, and I'm like, I found it. Like, what? What? And I'm like, I didn't look at any other book on the whole little aisle. That was the only thing I saw. Was that same color that I was looking at on my phone. I saw it on the shelf, picked it up. It was the same book. It's like, okay, well, let's rock and roll. I don't need to see anything else. I'm out of here. And thank God, because, you know, I would have been out of budget had I kept looking around. But anyways, got the book and I was so excited because she looks so pretty on the cover, y'all. First thing I ever noticed about her was that she was gorgeous. Okay, and I don't know. Anyways, she looks really pretty on the cover. It's called Invencible. And it's in Spanish. So I didn't really care about that until I got in the car. And I was like, bro, this book is in Spanish. That means by the end of this book, I should be fluent. Like, I'm fluent now, or at least people think that I am. I don't think that I am, but people think that I am. But no, by the end of this book, I'm bilingual. Okay? Because I'm going to read it. And it's going to help me get better with my Spanish. Because I got to be able to understand it to get better at my Spanish. So, therefore, you know what I'm saying. Anyways, I got the book. I was so excited. And then I'm like, well, now I need time to read the book. Because I want to read it. I want to devote time to it. To learn how to be invincible, okay? Because you never know what you're going to learn from people, right? I think one of the first books I ever bought was Sarah Jakes Roberts' book, Woman Evolved. Didn't know who Sarah Jakes Roberts was. All I know is that she did a podcast episode with Tamar Braxton. And I love Tamar Braxton. Never listened to podcasts before Tamar came out with her podcast, Under Construction. So, as a fan of Under Construction, you know, she's talking to Sarah Jakes Roberts, and I'm like, who is this? I like her. I dig her energy. So I look up the book, and I'm like, wait a minute, Sarah Jakes Roberts. Started looking up her, and I'm like, oh, now I have to get the book, okay? I want to know what she has to say. I didn't know anything about her. Didn't know about her being a teenage mom. None of that. Had never heard. I didn't even know T.D. Jakes had kids until that podcast episode. Okay? But this ain't about who she's connected to or whatever. It's about me. So I get the book, read it. It took me about a year, maybe 2, to read the book. But when I had time to read it, I enjoyed that time. When I made time to read it, I enjoyed that time. Like, I remember reading it in the airport, and I felt like such a cool person, right? Because I had a 8-hour layover, and I was like, let me do some homework. Then the Wi-Fi wasn't working at the airport, and I'm all the way in Orlando, and I'm like, well, I have a book. I brought a book specifically for this, and I read it. Didn't read all of it, of course, but I mean, I had time to sit there and read, and I enjoyed reading. I was about to say I was reading on the plane, but no, I was asleep. But yeah, so now that I have this book, I'm excited to have time to read it. It's a paperback, so I had to be very careful with it. Because like I said, she's really pretty on the front. Like, Chiki's just such a pretty woman. She's a beautiful woman, inside and out. And I think, like I said on the other episode, that being beautiful is something that's inside and out. You can be pretty on the outside and ugly on the inside. But you can't be beautiful on the outside and not be beautiful on the inside. It's something that's just, they go together real bad. Okay? So I think Chiki's is a very beautiful person. I think Sarah Jakes Roberts is a beautiful person. I think Tamar Braxton is a beautiful person. I think Big Lex is a beautiful person. Okay. If I do say so myself, Big Lex is it. But don't just take my word for it, you know. So, yeah. Being tired all the time is taken away from me acknowledging the beauty in my life and making myself more beautiful because I'm stressed out, or my chest is feeling tight, or my mind is going and has all these ideas, and or my mind is stuck on the negative instead of positive. And I just don't like feeling like that. I don't like living like that. So what's best for me is what's best for me. And I want to devote my time to the things that I want to devote it to, whether anybody likes it or not. Because if I'm not devoting my time to doing harm, then what am I doing to cause you any harm? You get what I'm saying? Like, if somebody wanted to play the flute all day long and it's not doing you any harm, you can't hear that person playing the flute. You don't know if they make a wrong note or if it sounds good, they just somewhere playing the flute all day. What harm are they doing? None, right? Y'all, let me tell y'all something. One day, I went to the library, and I was, at this point in my life, I was very, very sad, very, very just trying to get used to just being me. Still learning who I am, still trying to figure out what I want to do, right? But I hadn't gotten far, and I also had no money. So I would go to the library every day. Like, I would go to the library, then go DoorDash, or go DoorDash, then go to the library. Either way. So I was at the library, ended up locking my keys in the car. So I called my dad. Like, can you bring me some tape? Saw this thing on TikTok. Want to see if it works. And what do I have to lose? Because keys are in the car. And he got mad. Well, he came. Tape thing didn't work. And then he was just like, what are you doing with your life? Are you applying to jobs while you over here at the library? Like, what is you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to figure myself out. He was like, well, stop being so stupid. You can't do this, that, or whatever. I'm like, it's not making you any money to sit at the library all day. And I just walked away. I wasn't going to keep arguing. I just walked back in the library. Can't come in the library making a whole lot of noise. Can't come in there cussing me out in the library. Can't call me stupid in the library. They'll kick you out. So, yeah, went back in the library. And it was just crazy to me that he told me I was stupid because I wanted to go to the library every day. I wanted to spend my time in the library. Of all the places in the world I could spend my life at, spend my time at, I'm stupid to be in the place with all the books. All the books. Didn't make sense to me. But anyways, I would be in the library working on my podcast. Even though I wasn't recording it, I was trying to just figure out the logistics, what I wanted to do better, what I wanted to do different, where I'm at, progress, whatever. And I enjoyed making that time to spend on myself. If I had ever long I wanted to work on whatever I wanted to. If I just want to sit there and play on my phone, I could do that. But I also had to make the decision for myself to work on what I want to work on. And I did a lot of things in that library. I got an LLC. I signed up for an LLC in the library. For Big Legs LLC. Because I'm serious about what I'm doing here on this podcast. I'm serious about this. I love what I'm doing right now. When I was in the library, I did a couple of episodes of TMZ at the library. Whether I was inside or outside of the library, and they would call me, and yeah, I'm here for you. And I would be at the library. I don't know. I just have to get back to doing more things that are enriching for me, being in spaces that provide me with security and peace. One day in the library, I kept hearing this music, and I didn't know what it was. So as I'm walking in and out, like I guess to go answer a phone call or whatever, notice this little boy, young boy, is playing a ukulele. That's what music was. And I was like, "Do you actually know how to play this thing?" He was like, "A little bit." I was like, "You want a guitar?" He was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Do you want a guitar?" He was like, "I guess." I was like, "Wait right here." Went to my car, grabbed my guitar. Say, "Here you go." He was like, "What the?" Like, well, he wasn't like that, but he was like shocked. Like, what are you supposed to do? Somebody just gave me a whole guitar. But I was like, I need to get that guitar out of my car. It's taking up space, right? I don't care if he ever plays it. Here, have a guitar. And then after I got a job, I wasn't spending as much time in the library. And then one day I went back, and the girl at the front desk was like, "Long time no see." I was like, "Oh, I really haven't been here in a while, huh?" Like, you got used to seeing me every day. Then I just stopped coming. And I noticed the difference in the quality of life. Not that, my life just was bad or anything. I just noticed that I wasn't spending as much time on myself as I would like to. And part of it is, me. I have to learn to manage my time better. But also, if I'm so tired mentally, physically, emotionally, going to the library is just too much work in my mind. But I had to, you know, go through that time of not going to the library, finding alternatives, like different places to work on myself. I would go to, you know, McDonald's and sit in there and work on myself, and work on my podcast or whatever. But it was never enough time. So I was always having to, I had to be up at this time to be able to get there at this time. So I can get this and then do this at this time, whatever. Like, it was just always rushed. My time was always rushed. I don't like for my time to be rushed. Like, even now, I'm at the laundromat and my clothes are in the dryer. But I'm pretty sure they're done drying by now. And by the time I get in there, I'm probably going to have to, put more quarters in there so they can keep drying. But I don't want to feel rushed to dry my clothes. That's why I'm doing it on my day off. But I guess I just have to work on, my time. What's valuable to my time. Because I'm spending a lot of time stressing about work. And, work is something that you leave at work. Go, once you clock out, it's no longer your problem. Unless you're the owner of the company, then you need to be losing sleep over certain things. But me, I can't lose sleep about a job. I will lose sleep about this podcast, though. That's just me. But my priorities weren't in order. So I was worrying about work instead of worrying about big legs. And I was devoting more time to big legs. But I'm not worried about big legs. But right now, I need to be worried. I need to be up at night over big legs. Because that's where my heart is at. Me, Muriel Alexis Johnson. I am worried about big legs. But worrying about anything other than that, like a job or whatever, it's not worth my time. And let me tell y'all what big legs means to me. Because it's not just some nickname I made up. It's not just some, business. It's me, right? Like I said, my name is Muriel Alexis Johnson. Let's get that one clear. It's Muriel. Unless you're, Hispanic, then you can call me Muriel. Alright? But, some people call me Muriel, Morel. Those aren't my names. I mean, Muriel is my name. You can call me Muriel. That's fine. But, I'm just a woman. And I want to make it in life. I want to be an important woman. I want to be a woman worth knowing. I want to be a woman with a story. I want to be a woman with substance. I want to be a woman of grace. I want to be a woman who knows God. I want to be a woman who knows Jesus. I want to be a woman that Jesus knows. I want to be a woman that God took care of. God had his hand on. I want to be a woman that knows where she's going in life. Like, I want to be a great woman. But I have to start somewhere. And so when I established my LLC for Big Legs, that's when I knew I wasn't starting. I was taking the next step. I started something with this podcast, though. Because like I said, I never listened to a podcast before Tamar Braxton had one. I've been a Tamar Braxton fan for a long time. But I also knew, like, she had some things going on in her personal life. She was getting better. She was recovering from that. And that's what made her have the podcast. And when I would listen, I was like, oh, I'm getting value out of this. I like this. I would listen to her podcast and play Sims. Like, and then I stopped, I think, for a while, and then I started back, and I think I was listening to one podcast, and I heard an advertisement about Cheekies and Chill, and I was like, ooh, I'll listen to that. And like, after a month of listening to Cheekies and Chill, I was like, I want to do that. And I started my own podcast. Like, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought that I was going to be, the Gen Z expert, the Gen Z whisperer. That's what I thought. I thought I was going to be, Miss Ma'am of Gen Z. And it didn't end up working like that. It ended up being my place to desahogar, like my place to just get my feelings out, give myself a chance, basically. And that was very important to me. Because when I noticed that I needed help, this was helping me. When I didn't know that I need help, it was helping me. So when I started this podcast, I started something. And when I changed it from, get your shit together with Lex. Well, no, it was get your shit together with Muriel, first off. And then I changed it to the life of Lex. That's when I knew that, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. Because it's called the life of Lex. So it doesn't matter how I'm feeling today, yesterday, tomorrow, 2 weeks from now, 2 years from now. This is still part of my life. Because I'm still Lex. Whether I'm big Lex, little Lex, Lex with 2 X's, Lex with 1 X. My mama's going to call me Lex. My family's going to call me Lex. That's who they know me as. Because my name is Muriel Alexis Johnson. So I'm still going to be Lex, whether I like it or not. But with this, I get to change myself every single episode. Every single episode, I'm not leaving from this the same that I started the episode with. Because once you get your feelings out in a healthy manner, you're allowed to change how you feel about it. If you just never talk about anything, like, let's say, okay, for example, when I was younger, I used to tell people I don't like chocolate. They would take that as, I don't like chocolate cake, I don't like chocolate, I don't like brownies, I don't like chocolate chip cookies, and they would bring me all these things, and I'm like, where's the chocolate cake at? Where's the chocolate icing on this vanilla cake? I don't want no vanilla cake with no vanilla icing. What's wrong with you? And I would get upset, and I would not eat, and I would just, get in my feelings. But as I got older, I had to realize I don't like chocolate candy. But bring me the chocolate cake with chocolate icing and the molten chocolate in the middle, please. Bring me the double chocolate chip cookies. Please. Don't bring me no Snickers. And don't bring me no Almond Joy. You can bring me a Butterfinger though. But it's not that I didn't like chocolate. I didn't know how to express myself. Because it's like saying you don't like meat. Have you tried all the meat? Because you might like deer meat. You might like turtle meat. Have you tried it all yet? But I wasn't giving myself a chance when I was younger. I'd just be like, I don't like chocolate. And then people would be like, well, take that for that. Because they think that you know what you're talking about. Sometimes. But like I said, with this podcast, I give myself a chance to get my feelings out. Understand what I want, what I don't want. Who am I? And it also ties with experience of life. Like I have to try different chocolate candies. Because for a while I didn't want to try candy. And then I fell in love with peanut butter M&Ms. Oh, those are so good. when they first came out, that was it for me. But it's just life. You are allowed to change your mind. I liked them then. I don't want them now. I used to like candy a while ago. I might not want that now. I used to love Cinnabon for the past couple of months. I realized that I don't want it cold. Mm-mm. But like I said, you have to give yourself a chance. And this is where I give myself a chance. And yeah, this is where my energy is going. To creating more experiences where I have more sustenance, more substance to talk about whenever I need to get my feelings out. Because life is going to take its toll. It's going to do whatever it wants to do. But it's up to me to regulate my emotions, regulate myself. So, with that being said, I'm going to let y'all go. It's been a little time, right? The clothes is dry, I'm sure. If they not, then that's wild. But anyways, love, peace, and chicken grease, y'all. And please, don't go fucking up nobody's day. If I gotta tell you again, we gonna have a problem. But I'm gonna keep reminding you because sometimes you need a reminder that, hey, I can't go fucking up nobody's day today because Big Legs told me not to. Alright? So, yeah. Bye!